right, guys, welcome back to the Dynamic Lifestyle Podcast. We have our guest here, Jorge Rosado, all the way from Orlando, Florida. How you doing today, man?
Doing good, man. Feeling good, man. Just happy to be just living, man. Right?
Yeah,
Uh, that of itself, it's something to be grateful for.
absolutely, and that's something people just shoot. It's the little things in life people like just kind of just look past. You know, just living a life of abundance and just waking up being grateful every day. But no, it's good to hear that. So. Thanks for coming on our show, man, and just taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you have a lot going on right now, so the pleasure's all ours having you on our show, and we just look forward to this show and you bringing some good wisdom and good stuff to our listeners and everything.
Yeah, I sure hope so, man. I'm happy to be on here, man. And again, thank you for the opportunity, for reaching out and bringing me on. I know that you guys yourself are busy people, so I think that it's going to be a win-win here, and I think that your supporters and my supporters will definitely be able to take away some valuable things from it. I hope.
Absolutely, man. All righty, so take us through your journey. Take us through your journey. Just kind of how things got started for you, how you currently got to where you're at right now, and just pretty much your story.
Wow, dude. So I guess. Just to kind of bring it really back, man, I had no intentions of being where I currently am. Just wasn't my vision, at the time when I was in high school. Going into high school, I pretty much all I cared about was my social life there. For the most part, I was never really a big proponent of school, and I got by because I was a really, really, really good baseball player. Freshman year, starting, varsity shortstop and stuff. And that's pretty much kind of where I saw myself, is just kind of being, let's just say, a professional baseball player. That's pretty much where I wanted to take my life, essentially in that route. But then somewhere along the lines, I just let my social life get to me, and I lost the potential opportunities. And at that time, I just wasn't wise, and I lost those opportunities. So from literally right after high school, my mom decided to move to Florida out of nowhere. My family decided to move us. I'm talking about like 3 days within graduating high school. So I moved to Florida with my mom and my little sister, and having nothing pretty much. And at that time, I did have intentions of going to college, and being that I just had moved to Florida, I had to wait 2 years for residency because I didn't want to pay double tuition. So I waited those 2 years, and I was working at Taco Bell, and dude, it was tough, man. Like, I'm talking about, Florida living is not easy, and I could see why a lot of people, when they move here, they go back if they don't have some kind of stable income. It's with the healthcare system and everything, it's really tough, especially with my mother, being that she is sick. She has lupus and stuff like that. So at that, for the first couple of years, man, working at Taco Bell, only selling. I was a sneakerhead, so I used to I literally had 60 sneakers. So I think that I pretty much sold all of them, man. I think I only have 10 of them left, and pretty much that's what got me by, dude. Just flipping sneakers and selling them. That little small hustle was able to get me through the first couple of years of living here, being able to just make ends meet, right? Pay my bills. And as far as how my fitness journey started, I just been an athlete all my life, again, coming from a baseball background. And I've just always been intrigued by just lifting, dude, and just seeing changes in your physique and body, and it just always amazed me. And even now, even when I see little kids, it's just amazing how a human being from that small is able to kind of just grow into a full blown human. I'm just mind blown by it every time. But yeah, I continued on lifting when I came down here. I just always had a passion for that. And again, being that all I was doing was working and just kind of essentially trying to make money, it was just between that and training. And then somewhere along that, along those training sessions, somebody came up to me. They were like, dude, have you ever thought about competing? And I think I said, I don't know. I didn't know that there was, such a thing as far as like amateur like stuff. Like I knew about the Olympia and I knew about all those bigger things. But again, I was never really like into it. I never like actually took the time to search out shows and stuff like that. Until this guy brought it up to me when I was around 19, I want to say. And then from there on out, I seeked out my first coach, and I did my first competition in 2012, late 2012, for men's physique. I came in second at that. And then that year after that, that's where I met Paul Ravella, owner of Pro Physique. And I was pretty much his guinea pig for men's physique. So I went on that year to compete, and I competed, I think, 3 times that year. Competing in some of the biggest shows down here, and I ended up winning the Mr. Florida in 2013, Florida State Championships, and then went on to nationals, cracked the top 10, placed in 8th, I believe, out of like 60 dudes. So yeah, dude, that's pretty much like where everything started as far as like, my true fitness journey, because I used to work out and just like do it for fun, but like doing it with a bigger purpose, it was in 2013 or 2012, and then in 2013 where I really started to pick up traction with it. Especially that's when flexible dieting was like pretty much like getting on the mainstream, and like people were just mind blown that I was just eating all this crazy food and winning shows or placing at shows. So that's pretty much where I kind of picked up majority of my traction from the social media world and the Instagram. They were just like really like mind blown that I was just making all these crazy foods and winning shows.
That's awesome, man. That's a hell of a journey, and thanks for sharing that with us. And I want to kind of just go back to the part where you talked about, like, you said that you were very, very good at baseball and you had some, opportunities, but you said that you kind of made some decisions that kind of, prohibited you from, going forward with that. And I think this is a good point, because there might be some listeners out there that this could really hit home with, even like, younger millennials or just younger students that might have the same opportunity as you. And, you got to stay focused, even when like your social life comes in play. And I know it's hard, when you're a teen and young adult, you want to go out and do stuff, but one mistake could really cost you. So if you don't mind, can you tell us a little bit about like what happened to make you not go through with those opportunities that were presented to you?
So can you repeat that one more time?
So I just want to know, like, what was it that happened, with your baseball stuff that you couldn't, go forward with it?
So again, when I say mistakes, and letting my social life get to me, no laws were breaking. I've never been arrested.
Okay.
I've always had a clean. I mean, to this day, I have a clean record. I mean, parking tickets and stuff like that. But nothing criminal. But it was more so of the when I say like I let my social life get to me, I mean more of the I wanted to be that dude, right? I was that dude, and that's why I thought that I could get by. It's just like, dude, like I was just that guy. So again, just to kind of bring it back, I've never been a fan of school. Like I just feel that school was never for me. Especially, I guess it was just I wasn't interested in what they had to teach at that time. And that's pretty much why I missed on the opportunities. It's just my grades didn't allow me to move forward with those opportunities. Even though they let me ride for a little bit with bad grades, it got to the point where it's just like, look, like if you're not going to bring your grades up, we're not going to let you be on the team, because it's not fair to the other kids that are working hard at that. And again, at that time, I wasn't wise, and I was kind of into my own head, and I was just like, well, all right, guys, like, I guess I'm out of here then.
Gotcha.
Like, you guys do you. And yeah, man. And believe me, like, there's times where I think about it and I'm like, man, like what if, see what I'm saying? Like, what if I would have really applied myself, and who knows where I could have taken that. But at the same time, I don't do well on it too much, because it is what it is. And I'm a big believer that everything happens for a reason.
Right.
And again, it's it led me to where I am now, which is not in a bad position. Like, I'm pretty content in, essentially where I am going. And my vision is just a little bit more clear in the sense of like, man, like, hadn't this never happened, I would have never gotten these opportunities.
Right.
So it's just like, man, you really got to put this into perspective. It's just like, man, like, did you really take a L? Like, did you really lose? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like, unless we lived in two, parallel universes, we'll just never know the answer to that. I'll never know the answer to that. So it's just a waste of time if I just continually just kind of dwell on that and just kind of always, man, like, what if? It's like, no. And that's why essentially I tell my supporters and, people that I speak to, it's just like, dude, like, mistakes is, and I just actually made a post about this, that mistakes is, dude, it's you shouldn't only learn from your mistakes. And you shouldn't dwell on them too much, because it could easily cost you one of the most precious things in this world, which is time. And time is something that you can never get back, as far as we know, right? Like, it's only moving forward.
Right.
And we're only decaying. We're only getting older and older. So it's just like, dude, like, dwell on it, cry a couple times if you want to cry about it. After that, just embrace it, accept it, and fucking move forward, man.
Right.
Like, just keep on going with your life, one foot in front of the other. Stay the course, and just, take anything that you need to take away from that, right? It's just like, dude, like, now I know that you need to apply yourself. You see, I need to apply myself if I want a desirable outcome. So, yeah, man.
Yeah. No, honestly, a lot of respect for sharing that with us. I think that's great, man, and just being real about it. And you kind of hit the nail right on the head on what you said, that you can't dwell on the past because of those reasons, right? You lose too much time. Time is so precious. And then what happens is it actually locks your true gift from the world, right? Because you're so scared and you're dwelling so much on the past. And we've experienced this as well, man. We've gotten in trouble with the law as well, too. Something we're not proud about, but hey, there's a reason for it, and there's a reason why we're here because of it. So mad respect for that. Now, I did hear that you mentioned that you had a real fascination with kind of changing your physique. So that brings me to the next question. Tell us about what the New Breed Physiques is all about.
So New Breed Physiques, man, it's actually my consulting business. I started it about 7 months ago, with the intentions and the purpose of being able to help others manifest greatness within themselves, not only from a physical standpoint, but also from a psychological, emotional, and spiritual, just an overall well-rounded athlete. Because I think that, dude, it's coaching. It's not just about me giving you a training program or me giving you just a nutrition plan. Dude, like, you could go online and get that, like, and if you find a good one, like, you could pretty much make progress. For me, coaching is it's always been more than that. It's always been more of your relationship with that other person, and it's always meant, and I did it for free for a while, just because of the simple fact that I enjoyed helping people and enjoyed being able to bring out the best in them, essentially bring out areas and perspectives that they didn't know that they had within themselves. And that's pretty much, 7 months ago, just to kind of bring it back, I used to work for Porsche of Orlando. I worked there for about 5 years. So after all that, selling sneakers and Taco Bell, I mean, I was blessed to, the opportunity of working at Porsche of Orlando, being a detailer, and I make decent money there. But I just consistently over time, as the last couple of years that I was there, I just kept finding myself miserable. They were paying me, I mean, to be straight up, they were paying me like $65,000 a year. But at the same time, they were paying me for like 95% of my time. So it's just like, man, like, it's just like, yeah, I was working hard, but was I working hard at the thing that it is that I want to do for the rest of my life? You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And a breaking point for me was that they didn't want to let me go to school as well. This past year was the first, I actually went back to school, and they didn't want to do that for me. So, I asked myself the question. It's just like, is this really worth it? Again, time's only moving forward. It's just like the world's just going to keep essentially, dude, going around regardless of what you're doing. So I took a risk, man. I mean, I will say I gave myself a safety net because, again, I have bigger responsibilities than just myself. I take care of my mom and my little sister. So with that being said, I couldn't be fully selfish and be like, well, I'm just fucking gonna quit. No, I had to think like, okay, like I need to set myself the safety net. I need to be able to pay for my mom's medicine for this X amount of times in order to get things running. So I did that, and I mean, man, so far it's definitely has the potential to be one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life so far, with everything that has been going. And I hope that, you know, at the end of 5 years from now, I could look back and be like, man, like had that never happened, I would have never been here. And it's already showing that. But again, it's still relatively new, and it's still something that I'm continuously working on. And I don't think that I'll ever stop working on it because, again, this is pretty much what I want to do for the rest of my life, is just being able to uplift others and just kind of bring the best out of them, man.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, so I want to say congrats for, you know, starting your consulting business. And the second thing, congrats for taking that leap of faith, because think about how many people sit there in that situation where they're making good money, but they're so scared to sit there and do what they're truly, you know, their purpose is, their gift. So, you know, mad respect for that, man. And I just love what you're preaching with the new breed physiques, because this is what we're talking about with the new era of fitness, that it's so much more than just your body, right? All the clients that I've coached, none of them have sat there and said, you know what, thank you so much for making me lose body fat or build muscle. It was because you changed my life. You added value to my life. You know, so I just love that, man. That's great.
Dude, 100%, man.
So, man, everything Chris said pretty much I agree with, but I have to ask too. Man. So we're talking about coaching, right? So my question is, what do you think a lot of the coaches are doing wrong nowadays with their clients?
I think they're not listening, man. I think that's definitely a key factor, man. You know, luckily I surround myself with around good coaches, so it's just like, man, I've learned a lot from my mentors, and I think that majority of the people that I know pretty much follow the same philosophy that I follow. So that is good. But however, I think that good coaches are still the minority of the fitness industry as a whole. And I just think that a lot of coaches don't care, dude. Just simply don't care. And they're just in it for the money. Right. Dude, I get it that you need to put bread on the table and you got to make a living. But at the expense of somebody else's well-being, how can you live with that? Personally, I can't. I couldn't. And that's why I did it for free for such a long time, until where it just, it comes back to time. It's just like it became very time consuming. So it's just like, okay, now at this point I need to start getting compensated. Like I know, you know, my self-worth essentially and what I have to offer. So, and I know that I could bring value into these people's lives. So that's pretty much when I made it a business. But yeah, man, I think that more coaches in the fitness industry need to, listen and just be more genuine. I think that of itself in the long run will be more rewarding than just in it for to make a quick buck. Because, dude, I believe that karma's a bitch. So if you are doing it for that, it will come back around and bite you in the ass.
Yeah, dude, agree 100% on that. And I think it just goes back to, establishing a good sound relationship, taking a general interest in what your client likes, their family, their hobbies, what they're doing with their career, their vision. So it's huge, man. And it's like, we've seen that so many of our clients have come from other coaches telling us these horror stories about just like making a quick buck, just like, sacrificing their health for that. And it's crazy. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's all about integrity within this coaching aspect, and you only get one name. You really do. Only one name and one reputation. If you play with enough fire, it's going to come back to burn you, and it's like you're pretty much done. So I love it, man. I love the route that you're going with your clients and your philosophies. And like you said, you surround yourself with great coaches, such as Paul, Lane, Ryan, all those other guys. So it's like, man, it rubs off. So it's awesome.
I mean, You are the average of your closest 5 friends, pretty much. Yeah. And I mean, I surround myself, again, it's been a blessing that luckily my closest 5 friends have pretty much have been my mentors in life as well. So it's just like, man, I honestly can't complain about the relationships that I've been able to build. And I think that is the real reason why I am where I am and why I have been successful up to this point. It hasn't been because of the money, obviously, but it's more so of who I've surrounded myself by. And again, man, it's just like, I think that network relationships are everything in life, man. It's something that you can't really put a price on when you do find people that genuinely want to help you and care for you, and care for your values and your vision and your goals.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. All right, Jorge, let's switch gears here. So let's talk about your Instagram. Your Instagram is on fire, man. It's on lumbre. So those non-Spanish speakers, lumbre means fire.
Or fuego.
So it's on fire, man. And you're doing some really cool stuff with your training videos. So let us know, like, what made you come up with these cool concepts and this unique type of twist that you have with your training videos? What kind of feedback are you getting from this?
So yeah, dude. Again, for a little while, I was stuck around 18K. For a really long time, and the growth just stopped. And at that point, I knew that I had to kind of take a step back and reevaluate what's really going on. Why is it that my page it's not growing no longer, when at one point it was growing. So one night, dude, I just decided to just be completely honest with myself. And believe me, dude, that's being honest with oneself. It's definitely one of the hardest things that you'll do for the most part. Like, most people don't like that. And I think that not doing so can essentially prevent you from, one, being your truest self, and like, two, just being able to unlock your truest potentials. So I decided to look at my Instagram and took a helicopter view at things, man, and asked myself the question. It's just like, would I willingly come back to this profile if I didn't know this person? And the answer was straight up no. It's just another dude with a good physique. It's just another dude that's posting training videos that's pretty strong. There wasn't no clear value in there where it's gonna make me tell you about it, or tell my being a coach, tell my clients about it, or anything along that nature. So I knew that I needed to figure out a way how to essentially bring more value to people. I needed to figure out something that's gonna make people willingly come back to my profile, or like or look forward to my posts, turn on post notifications for me. And so at that point that I realized that, I also asked myself the questions like, what are my strengths, right? And again, just taking a look at everything that I've been doing, it's just like, dude, like, training and teaching, educating, for the most part, it's one of your strengths, dude. It's something that you like doing. So I played to my strength, dude. I was just like, you know what? Like, I've always been afraid, for the most part, of, and we all are, of the critics, right? Like, we just don't like rejection. We don't like people not agreeing with us. And that's something else that was kind of holding me back. But again, I realized it's just like, dude, you need to let that shit go, man. Because there's just so many people out there that don't know, and that could benefit from stuff like this. Again, it comes down to kind of self-confidence, right? And it's just like, are you confident in what in the essentially in the content that you are going to be putting out? And the answer was pretty much yeah. Like, it's just like, dude, like, there's so many people out there giving complete bullshit.
Yeah.
That this is mind blowing to me. And it's just like, I don't expect everybody to agree with me on certain things, and that's just the way the world fucking goes. Like, that's just how the cookie crumbles, right? Like, not everybody's going to see eye to eye with you. And that's okay, man. That is 100% okay. You might be able to, kind of learn from that and be able to take, some things away from that. And I have. There's been some things where I, might not have been necessarily completely right on it, but I've been open-minded to essentially learning from it. It's just like, oh, like, okay, let me go back and fix that. So now I'm able to provide the correct information.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't. It is good to stick to your gun at times, but it's also not. It could also be detrimental if you only stick to your gun and you're not open-minded to listening to others and essentially kind of hearing out what they have to offer and their opinion on things. I think that you could also use that to your advantage. So yeah, dude. So I started putting out these like, I was like, you know what? Like, let's just start off with something small. Let's like, don't do this in training, do this. And like, man, like a couple things went viral, and then I saw the trend. I mean, Instagram it's a lab. Like, you gotta experiment. This is what I tell people, dude, it's an experiment. Pay fucking attention to your post and what you're doing. It's just like, what's getting the most engagement, what's essentially getting the most likes, like what are people responding to, what is the likelihood there? You see what I'm saying? Like, what are people really coming there for? And that's something that you kind of have to start, from the beginning. It's just like, dude, like, you just got to be consistent with it. Like, now I pretty much created the content that, my profile kind of, signifies. And it's just like, that's what people come there for. So I started doing that, and dude, like, things just went completely viral. I think like a couple of my posts have like over like 3 million impressions and reaches, geez, with like over like 40,000 likes. And yeah, man, I went from like 100K to like, I went from 18K to like 100K in like within a month or so. And then within a week, I made a series of them, and it went from 100K to 200K literally within a week.
Dang.
God. It's mind blowing. So overall, like, dude, like, my growth has been only in the span of like 2.5 months, I would say. And it's been organic, dude. Like, again, like, you can see that. Like, I don't have to tell you. Because it's just like, you see that through each post. It's just like the amount of engagement that they are getting. So it's been pretty cool to kind of been able to grow just organically, not only from my physique, because that's the one thing that before all this, I kind of told myself, it's just like, look, like, I just don't want to be known for my physique, because again, it's just like, how much value does that really have? And I feel like that kind of has a shelf life to it, right? I can't be shredded all the time. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be shredded all the time. And it's just like, with the whole powerlifting thing, it's just like, injuries are going to happen. So it's just like, if for some reason you no longer want to essentially train or build a physique, or you end up getting hurt and something happens, like, what other values do you have where it could be more sustainable in the long run, like 30, 40 years from now? And it's just like, dude, like, again, when you bring people value through education and you don't expect anything back, like, that of itself, I think it's something that it can be sustainable, and for the longevity aspect of things will end up being more rewarding than just being known for your physique.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I just want to add something real quick. Yeah. So just kind of like to recap that, what really stood out to me was that, for the listeners too, is that you have to kind of step back. Like you said, look at that helicopter view, look at your page, see what kind of value you're adding, what else you could do. And most importantly, test, experiment, and, gather the data, go back to the drawing board, and just, keep trying different things out. So that's awesome, man. Those are some really, really good tips.
It's funny because, like, a lot of people, again, it's just with anything, people only see the end result, right? Like, they never see the grind, those 10 years of silence that you were just, you kept your head down and you fucking grinded. And then once you do expose yourself, they're like, oh, he just became overnight success. And it's like, dude, like, you don't realize that it took me around 2,950 plus posts to figure out something that worked.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I literally just hit 3,000 posts like yesterday, and it's just like, dude, it took me that many times to figure out something that was gonna essentially put me at the top of the wave.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. Like, people can look back and they'll forget that you used to put a lot of value out there with like your contests, with like your porn cakes, your recipes, and it's like they don't think about that stuff. Like, so you experimented with all that stuff to try to test it, see if it worked. Maybe it didn't work out as good, so you finally found something you tested out that worked, and you doubled down on it. People don't really understand that, though.
Yeah, man. Again, another thing is just kind of something that I posted in my story, dude. It's just kind of being patient and just being consistent with it and believing in it.
Yep.
And dude, everything that I've done over the last 5 years had led me to where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, could I have done this then? No, I didn't have the knowledge then. I didn't have enough knowledge, and I mean, it was just I wasn't wise enough, I guess. And I think that timing. Sorry, we cut off a little bit.
Yeah, we cut off a little. It's all good, man. Just keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, anyways, I like I was saying, it's just like, I think that timing there's definitely something to be said there, in that it's just like, dude, it's you have to kind of wait for the right time. And what I mean by that is that you have to be prepared for when that time comes. Right. It's just like, dude, like, just grind. So that way, it's just like, when that opportunity presents itself, like, dude, you've been ready. Like, I've been ready fucking 2 years ago for this. You see what I'm saying? And it's just like, obviously, the longer you go on, the more you keep grinding, and the more, if we're talking about knowledge, the more knowledge you build, and the more just well-rounded you are, the better it will be when that essentially opportunity presents itself. And that just goes for everything in life, whether it's work, obviously school. That's how you build up the test, right? Like, you study, and then you're prepared for the test, and you feel confident in your abilities and relationships and just everything, man.
Yeah, I love that, man. Thanks for sharing all that. And like I said, kudos to you, man, for going from that 18K to like hundreds of thousands, and you're adding value to their life. So that's awesome, man. So I want to shift gears here. So I know the listeners want to know. Walk us through your life, or your pretty much your daily life. So what do you do in the morning? What do you do in the afternoon? What do you do at night? And then most importantly, before bed, what do you usually think about before bed?
Dude, honestly, it varies day to day, man. It honestly varies day to day as far as like my routine. For the most part, though, just like anybody else, I wake up, check my phone.
Check that Instagram,
roll over, check my Instagram real quick. I should probably just kind of get away from that and just kind of like wake up and just kind of embrace myself and just be in life, right? That's what most people kind of want to do for the most. But yeah, man, I just, for the most part, it's been pretty consistent. Wake up, I just pretty much have breakfast, and then from there on out, being that I am pretty much my own boss, right? Like, I pretty much make my own schedule. The one thing that I've noticed that I kind of struggle with, for the most part, it's being able to give myself more structure. And what I mean by that is that, right, when I used to work the 9 to 5, it's just like, all right, like, I got to go to work 9 to 5. So being a new quote unquote entrepreneur, it's just like I've had to kind of force myself to be like, all right, like, George, you're gonna wake up at 8 in the morning. By 9, you have to be at work, right? And it's just like, whether that's like on my computer, just essentially reading an article or reading a book that's gonna essentially make me a better coach. I consider all those things work for me. It's just like I'm just essentially self-improving myself, so I can be better for you guys, or for whatever it is, and primarily, obviously, the coaching aspect of things. So luckily, my gym I'm really cool with the owners here at my gym, so they kind of gave me like office space, which is where I'm at. So I wake up, and I try to be in here by 9 in the morning, and then just work all the way up to around 4 or something along that nature, and then that's pretty much where I just kind of shut things down for that time period where I'm training. So I train from like, I don't know, let's just say 4 to 6 or something along those lines. And then from there, I go home, shower, get a meal in, and then I just pretty much go back to work until whenever I just get tired. Like, it's just a constant grind, dude. Like, it's just pretty much what I like, pretty much what I love doing, man. And it's just like, it's funny because I think that I work more hours now than what I did when I was at Porsche, the 9 to 5, but you don't realize it because it's something that you actually enjoy. So yeah, man.
Yeah. So what do you think about usually before you go to bed?
Dude, I'm just grateful, man. Just appreciative of everything that I've been able to accomplish, and just for the relationships that I have. And I'm not big in religion, man, but I just talk. Like, I just talk in my own head. Like, there's always somebody that's going to have it worse than you out there. You see what I'm saying? Even if it's just like, okay, you're dealt. I mean, obviously in this generation we live in, a lot of people think they're entitled, and they're always in the mindset of like, man, like, I was dealt with a tough hand, right? And it's just like, dude, I mean, were you really, like, if you really break it down into the core, it's just like, one, just being in fucking America is something to be grateful for. Like, that of itself, it's just like, and again, what we talked about, it's just like, you know, it's the little things that people, you know, essentially not take into account, man. Yeah. So, man, I'm just grateful for the things, you know, that I am doing, and the things that I have been able to accomplish, and just the relationships and stuff like that. And that's it for the most part, man.
Love it, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Because like you said, I mean, if you really stop and think about it, it could be so much worse. I mean, it could be a third world country problem. It's like, we sit here and complain because our internet sometimes doesn't work. It's like, man, it's like, shut the fuck up. Seriously, it's like, there's so much worse stuff out there. It's like, we are so spoiled here in America. And it's like, even like with me and Chris, man, we've been dealt a hard hand, you know, our life. But it's like, I would never sit there and be like, oh, use that as an excuse and be like, people to always, you know, just pity it and stuff, or just be like, you know, feel sorry for us, because at the end of the day, it's like, it's always worse out there. And it's like, man, you're in control of everything you do, whether, you know, you were dealt a shitty hand or not. So I mean, I'm glad you touched up on that, being grateful.
Dude, absolutely, man.
Yeah. All right, man, so I got a great question for you. So let's say the CEO of YouTube reached out to you. He's like, Jorge, he's like, love what you're doing, you're inspiring people, you're touching the world. I'm going to give you a 1-minute viral video that's going to reach billions and billions of people. In that 1-minute video, what would your message be and why?
Oof.
You like that one, huh?
Oh boy, man. That's wow. Okay. Man. I think there's just so many things out there that I would want to say, but I think that it would pretty much have to go in the realms of not relying on somebody else for your self-worth and your happiness. I think that you're the only person that can be responsible for that. I feel like if you can't love and respect yourself, no one else will be able to make that happen for you, for the most part. And it's just like, a lot of people always blame others for their happiness and for their, pretty much like, for their self-worth. And it's just like, dude, you made yourself feel that way. You allowed yourself to feel that way. So the problem is not necessarily them. It's you. Like, you have to work on that. And I'm just a big, you know, believer that you just, dude, like, you just have to accept yourself for who you are. The good and the bad things, and then just kind of make changes as you see fit. I don't think that you should necessarily try to change things or be somebody different from somebody else, man. Like, far too many times, and I've spoken about this before, man. It's just like, far too many times I've seen others change for other people, and dude, deep down at core, like, you're never truly fulfilled and happy. So all in all, I would say it's just, don't restrict yourself for somebody else, and more so just accept and embrace that. And the people that are gonna to be a little bit vulgar, the people that are gonna fuck with you are gonna fuck with you, and the people that are not. Like that's that's just what it is.
Yep. Love that.
Yeah. All right, man. So I know you get a lot of questions, whether it's through email or it's Instagram, right? So what question do you wish people would ask you that they don't ask you?
Oof, man. Again, it kind of ties into everything that I've been speaking to. It's just like, are you doing this for you? Like, that's pretty much the question that you kind of have to ask yourself. It's just like, man, like, are you doing this for somebody else? Or is this truly a thing that makes you happy? And yeah, man.
Gotcha. What does the word freedom mean to you?
Freedom, essentially, dude, freedom means, it's funny because that's pretty much what I seek out of life, man. And to me, freedom is just pretty much being able to do the things that you want when you want. So having $2 billion or $2 million or having a Lamborghini doesn't necessarily mean freedom to me. Because I think that in this world, there's a lot of people that are making $250,000 that could potentially be making $100,000 and living a more fulfilled life. Mm-hmm. And even with coaching, it's just like, do I want to take on 200 clients? Absolutely not. I mean, one, because my quality is going to go down, but because also it's going to be this cost opportunity, right? Like, the more clients I take on, the less time I'll be able to distribute to my family, or just being just other things that I enjoy. So yeah, man, I just essentially want to make enough money in life where I could do those things, man, and not kind of hold myself back from them.
Amen to that. What are you missing in your life right now? We're going deep on you.
Some coffee, man. Honestly, right now.
That was good.
Honestly, dude, like, again, man, I don't know, man. I think I'm pretty much content. I mean, we're never satisfied, right? Like, we always want to strive for more, and we always should want more out of life and want more out of ourselves. Yeah, man, I think that there's nothing that I necessarily am missing right now. It's just I kind of just am going with the flow and just accepting things for what they are, and when things happen, they just kind of come by.
Cool. Gotcha. What do you like to do for fun?
Oh, shit.
Don't hold back on us.
Wow. What do I like to do for fun, dude? I actually enjoy, obviously I'm reading, and just essentially seeking every day on ways that I could evolve myself and just essentially try to become the strongest version of myself, whether that's physically, mentally. All those things are pretty much fun to me, but other mindless tasks, I would say, I don't know, for some reason, like, I enjoy just going out to markets and just walking and going out to places and just kind of observing, like, honestly, just watching people, just seeing their actions and seeing what people are doing and just kind of appreciating life and the moment for itself. Like, it's pretty cool. And again, this is pretty much why I like do the personal posts that I do on Instagram. It's just like my perspective and my philosophy on life. By all means, I'm not a philosopher, and majority of my perspective and outlook on life has come from my overcomings and just things, my experience, things that happened to me, but also just from learning from my mentors and just kind of adapting a lot of their philosophy and their perspective on life.
I love that, man. I love how you just said that you just like to just go observe people, just see their actions, see what they do. And that's what we like to do. We like people watching, man. So I kid you not, if you ever come to LA, we're going to take you down to Venice to the boardwalk. We're going to sit there. We're going to do some people watching because there's all kinds of walks of life there. And that's just pure entertainment right there, man.
Like, you'll learn some stuff.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
You'll definitely learn some stuff, man.
Yeah. No,
it's just like, it's, dude, and that's like, if you like just watch people's actions, dude. And that's pretty much, that's something that actually Gary Vee touches on. It's just like, dude, like just watch what I'm doing, like, and that's it. Like,
yeah,
like, why do you need me to tell you? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's good too. It's good to learn how to read people too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. So we came out with the book titled The New Era of Fitness. So looking back at 5-10 years, do you think we're in a new era of fitness right now, and why?
Yeah, man, I definitely think that we are, man. I think that more people are starting to be more self-aware, man. As far as like, I'm talking about directly from like the nutrition aspect of things as well. Like, you know, you see this in McDonald's and Panera's, like they're all starting to put like the nutritional content on things and just kind of allowing people to just be more aware of what, you know, they're consuming. So I think that people are starting to just be a little bit more knowledgeable and just kind of be more, again, just self-aware of what they are consuming and their training. Like, I think they're taking more interest in it for some reason.
Yeah,
absolutely. For sure. All right, Jorge. So before we get into the last question that we ask all of our guests, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you, man. And I know this is coming from Chris. Man, I want to acknowledge you first for your amazing story that you shared with us, your courage, the fact that, you know, you took that leap of faith, started your own business, that you've been taking care of your mom, your sister. That just tells me a lot about your character and what kind of person you are. So, yeah, man, and you're doing such a great job with all your stuff out there, just your content, you're helping change lives, and that's really what it's all about, man. So I just wanted to stop and take a moment to acknowledge you for all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Dude, and I mean, I appreciate that, man, honestly. Yeah. And the reason why I love, like, just, dude, like, one, I just feel that people in general just are always walking around in autopilot mode. And I get it. We're all busy and we're all on the go. And majority of the time, most people just don't have anything good to say, or anything that's going to essentially bring value into your life, for the most part. And that's why I think that, like, conversations like this, just genuine conversations, man, they're just so fulfilling. And I think that's alone, it's one of the keys to happiness, man, and true fulfillment. It's being able to have, these relationships, and build strong rapport with other individuals. And that's why I was glad that you actually invited me on here, because yes, I'm talking to you guys, and many people will be able to listen to this, but dude, like, I'm telling you all this stuff, but at the same time, I'm telling myself all this stuff. And it just makes it so much more real when I'm actually able to just say it out loud. And obviously other people could benefit from it potentially. So
100%.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff, man. So my last question is, what is your definition of living a dynamic lifestyle?
A dynamic lifestyle. I think that the more as time goes on, the more and more I realize that my personality alone is dynamic. Just from, I listen to others, and it's just like, I consistently get, that I am charismatic and stuff like that. And I'm obviously an extrovert, and I love just being around people. So I think that, a dynamic personality just enables others to essentially connect. And it's kind of, I feel like most people that have a dynamic personality are there to inspire and kind of be this model of excellence to others. So I think that living a dynamic lifestyle, to me, is just being able to bring out the best in others and be this model of excellence where people can kind of look up to and be like, man, like, he is a good person. He has been able to change this for me. He made me feel this way, and that changed my life. So yeah, man.
Awesome. Well said. All right, Jorge. So where can our listeners connect with you and follow your work?
So my main platform right now is going to be Instagram, which is at @fitness_IQ. That's pretty much where you'll find majority of the content with the training do's and don'ts. And some of what I've been doing lately is Real Talk IQ, where it's pretty much my perspective and outlook on life and just kind of tidbits to help you kind of get through the day. Because again, like, what I said, life is just more than just training. You're only in there for a small fraction of your day, right? What, a couple, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours max. It's just like, what about the rest of your day, right? And all these other factors outside of that play so much of a significant role in your ability to do these things as far as training and nutrition. For the consultant, if you are looking to get coached or just kind of, essentially have me help you bring out the best in you and help you manifest greatness within yourself, you can find me at newbreedphysiques.com. I'm sure you guys will put all that in the link in the link. And then on Facebook, you can find me on Facebook, just Jorge Rosado, and same thing on YouTube. You can just find me at Jorge Rosado.
Awesome. So yeah, we'll have all that in the show notes for our listeners so they can connect with you. Jorge, once again, man, thank you so much for spending time with us, your wisdom, sharing your gift, and everything like that. We truly appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely, man. Thank you guys for having me on. And I just want to say one last thing to your supporters is that I truly hope that, like, I want, if you can, and if you do have the time, just actually take the time to sit down and just kind of listen and take notes. Again, just to make things more tangible for yourself. And hopefully I was able to bring some value into a lot of your supporters and mine. So thank you again for the opportunity, man.
100%, man. All right, dude. So we'll talk soon.
Absolutely, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in to our video. We really, really appreciate it. And before you guys go, make sure to subscribe below to our newsletter so you guys can get our free and new book, The 4 Pillars of Becoming Dynamic Within Fitness.